Today is Muhammad Ali's Day in Illinois, celebrating the birthday of the greatest boxer of all time. But it's also a day to remember how he stood up for his beliefs and fought for equal rights for people of all races and all religions. Joining us to talk about his legacy is his grandson, Jacob Ali Wertheimer. Jacob, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me. It's really an honor to be able to be here. And thank you to everybody in the state, really, for passing this piece of legislation. I was fortunate enough to speak to multiple members of the state legislature during the ratification of this bill. And I think this holiday really does a great job of commemorating my grandfather's legacy, given how much, especially the city of Chicago, meant to him when it really came to who he was as an activist. You know, my grandfather came to the city of Chicago after he lost his right to fight, after he was stripped of his titles, and as a result really centered his life on social activism when he really spent a lot of time being involved in the Islamic community in regards to public housing issues, part of his legacy that we really aim to continue to work with today through my family's work still with the National Public Housing Museum.
Yeah, I want to get to that in just a little bit. You talked about his legacy, his story, and his time here in Chicago. What else did he tell you anything to you? Do you remember? Do you have those memories of that?
I certainly have a lot of memories of my grandfather's time in Chicago. My mother herself spent time growing up in Chicago as a child. And when it really came to this time, a lot of it that really spoke to him, that he really felt was most important to share, was again his time of activism, was his time of helping the people when he lived on the South Side, when he was involved in the Islamic community, and when it came to really helping people fight the injustices that they were suffering at that time.
And I hear that you've been following in his footsteps with activism, helping those who are maybe young offenders and helping them with that. What has that process been like for you? Or how do you continue to carry on that legacy?
You know, I do everything I can to ensure that I carry on my grandfather's legacy, and most importantly, to make change and help people that mattered so much to the both of us. I've been fortunate to spend time at the Juvenile Law Center in Philadelphia, helping fight for the right of juvenile offenders or those who have been wrongfully convicted, as well as time with Senator Chuck Schumer or Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, getting some time to work under them and learn from them when it came to policy and legislation.
What do you think your grandfather would say to you in telling you how to carry out what you're doing right now with those wrongfully convicted?
I think my grandfather would just tell me to persevere. You know, I think my grandfather was somebody who very much understood the importance of a long struggle, the importance of working hard for as long as you can, even when things aren't necessarily going well. I think that very much speaks to his time in Chicago, right? Like I said before, when he came to Chicago, he was very much a vilified figure throughout a lot of this country. He was seen as somebody who was a draft dodger to some, even though we now understand that he was standing up for what was right in his protest of the Vietnam War.
And you mentioned earlier that your family currently working on the National Public Housing Museum in Chicago. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and what you think he would say about this unrest and current divisiveness as we look to house those here in the city over the years?
Public housing was one of the most important issues to my grandfather. During his time in Chicago, he actually spent a lot of time protesting unlawful convictions. So I think that the work we're doing now is something that we very much are doing, intending to honor his legacy, and I think he'd be very proud of it. You know, we've been very fortunate to spend a lot of time working with people like Governor Pritzker in order to provide more affordable housing options to people throughout the entire city, but also to track the history of affordable housing and track the history of offenses, the history of things like redlining that occurred, and in order to understand that history, how to properly remedy it moving forward.
Jacob, we really appreciate your time on a really special day here in Illinois, Muhammad Ali Day. Thank you for sharing your memories with us and what your family's working on.
Thank you for having me, and I hope everybody enjoys today.
Thank you.